There are way too many people out there who don't have any intention. They don't have clear direction in their life. They don't think about what they do. They kind of just take everything that everyone tells them and just go with it. It's kind of a problem. So there's this quote from a book that I love called God Emperor of Dune. It's the fourth book in the Dune series, and it reads, "Caution is the path to mediocrity. Gliding, passionless mediocrity is all the most people think they can achieve," which I think is so true. And to give some background on what he's saying here, so the character saying the quote is Leto II Atreides. He's the God Emperor, and he's built his empire on this grand long-term vision that he calls the Golden Path that is supposed to prevent humanity from going extinct, because it's his viewpoint that by nature, humanity becomes complacent, they become too comfortable, and they cease to innovate, to explore, to evolve. They just become too comfortable, too set in their ways, and they stop the driving force that keeps humanity from deteriorating. And he argues that this is the default state for humanity, and I think that that's true. I don't think he's far off at all. And we see that a lot nowadays. It takes serious effort to sit down and really think about why you do the things that you do, to really do a full self-evaluation and an evaluation of your life, to think about where you're going, why you're doing what you're doing. And it comes down to the small things too. But really, from kind of what I can tell, not many people do this. They just don't bother. It's easy to just accept the path that someone sets for you. It's easy to accept a social norm and go along with it, even though these things might not necessarily be the right thing for you. It reduces friction in life, to just go along with what everyone else is doing, and it makes you feel accepted by the tribe. And I think that's the mindset that most people have fallen into. It's really important to sit down with yourself and think about what you do, why you do it, why you have the things you have, why you consume the media that you consume, why you eat the things you eat, why you're in the career that you're in. But not everybody needs to be great, right? Mediocrity is there for a reason. If without mediocrity, there wouldn't be great people, right? So most people, of course, are going to be mediocre. I'm not saying everyone needs to be great and uber successful. What I'm saying is that people need to avoid the NPC like droning through life, or the, like Frank Herbert would say, passionless and gliding mindset that keeps so many people back. I think that most people would be able to fulfill their potential if they spent more time introspecting and being more intentional with everything in their life. There's too many things that have just become okay, that have become acceptable, and I think are perpetuating problems in our society. These things being overconsumption of media, and especially of slop media and entertainment, stuff that's really just junk and doesn't benefit us in any way. It's also the enshittification of products. There's so much junk out there that people are buying because they see it on TikTok and feel like they have to buy it. Like they see it in the grocery store. Oh, this is cute. They accumulate all these things. Why do you have all of these things that you have? What is the reason for accumulating all of this junk that doesn't have any utility? All of these collectibles, sometimes it's fine to have a hobby of collecting some things you're really passionate about, but people are just collecting so much junk nowadays. It's kind of disturbing. And there's entire generations of people now that are starting to feel lost and directionless. It's really sad to see, and I think that with more intention in people's lives, if people pay attention to what they do and maybe go home and rethink their lives, right? I think that would make a big difference. I don't think this is the only thing that can solve these problems, and but it's definitely a big contributing factor. And of course, another big contributing factor is the fact that these big companies are manipulating people into buying all this junk. It's pretty effective. Their marketing is great, and that is also a big problem. However, there's not always much you can do about that. Well, I mean, the best thing you can do about that is stop buying their junk, stop giving them money. But the next best thing you can do is kind of sit back and be like, okay, why am I buying this? Why do I want this? Why am I watching this? Why am I pursuing this degree that's going to cost me $100,000 in student loans? That's another thing that, it's become so normalized for people to go to college and accept these massive student loans that keep them in debt forever. There's other societal things like doom scrolling. It's so normal. I mean, there's a lot of talk about it online for being terrible, and I think most people have seen that content and recognize it's bad, but they keep seeing everyone around them do it, so they keep doing it. It's just a self-perpetuating problem. And there's other things like voting for a third party is throwing away your vote. Why would voting for someone that reflects your beliefs and represents you better in Congress be a bad idea? That's just the Republicans and the Democrats maintaining their power over you, right? And also, why do you own a couch? Think about why you own a couch. They're super expensive, honestly, overly luxurious. Most people don't really need a couch. You don't need a couch. You're not Kim Kardashian, okay? You don't need it. They're overly expensive. They take up so much space. They're hard to move around if you need to move. It's just such an impractical, and they're like sloth inducing too. You sit in it, you get way too comfortable. You sit around, you start scrolling, you're watching TV, and then you don't get anything done for the rest of the day. It's a pretty impractical thing to own, I think. And so that's what I'm talking about here. Think about all of these things that you believe and that you do, and think about why you believe them and why you do them. I also like to challenge people to think about their financial situation. Are you in a poor financial situation? Are you poor? I think being in a prolonged state of an undesirable financial situation is a choice. There is a way out of every financial situation, I promise you. And having gotten in that situation was likely a choice. In most situations, it was a choice. Do you have massive student debt? Well, you signed the loan. Are you in massive credit card debt that is eating you alive? You swiped the card for every single one of those purchases. It's your fault. And maybe you have excuses for not being able to get out of this financial situation. I have kids. Okay, well, having kids is a very intentional act. And people can come up with all of these excuses that allow them to stay in their undesirable situation because it's very uncomfortable to acknowledge, okay, I messed up and I need to do something about it. I think if more people did that, the world would be a much better place. So please think about how you're spending your money. Think about all of the subscriptions you have. Think about all of the loans you have. Do you have a car loan? Okay, did you just buy a $50,000 car? That's a choice. You probably could have gone and bought a Toyota Corolla and have been much better off. It drives you to and from work just the same. Please just think. Think, Mark. Think. So I'm not saying you need to be like me, a couchless, social media-less person, besides YouTube, I guess. I like YouTube. But you just gotta figure out what works for you, okay? You gotta think about it. Just go sit through, think about all of the things you do. Think about your job. Think about what you're going to school for. Think about what you're spending all your money on. Please, you need to be aware of what you're spending your money on. Think about all of the media you consume. What social media apps do you use? How do these social media apps control you and manipulate you into spending as much time as possible on these apps? And just please go home and rethink your life. Everything will be so much better if you work through this if you push through the uncomfortable truth that your life is probably a wreck and you do something about it, okay? So stop being poor, sell your couch, and I'll see you in the next one.